So, my dad's car needs an oil change. That's fine, cars need oil changes all the time. However, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and he wants me to do it. Now, I've changed his car's oil before, but that doesn't mean I'm good at it. In fact, I'm really bad at it. I have no idea what I'm doing, so the obvious thing to do would just be to do it. Now, to change your car's oil, there's just a few easy steps. Step 1, elevate the car. Step 2, take off a panel covering some important stuff below the car. Step 3, unscrew this little plug called an oil nut that's below the car. Step 4, drain the oil into a container. Step 5, take out a cylinder-looking thing. Step 6, put the oil nut back. Step 7, put a new cylinder where the old cylinder-looking thing was. Step 8, pour the new oil in. And Step 9, put the panel back and you're done. See this list of steps? Remember them. It's important. Now, let's see how I handled them. First, I had to elevate the car, and to do that, I used ramps. No, not the 3D printer board. Actual metal ramps that my dad had lying around in his garage. And once the car was up on the ramps, I put chocks behind the back wheels so that the car wouldn't roll backwards and kill me while I was working. Then, after I made sure the car was firmly on the ramps, I brought tools to where I would be working, just to make sure everything would be in arm's reach. To get under the car, I used these fancy roller things that you lie on your back on. You certainly don't need these, but it helped my back from getting torn up from the concrete. First, when I was under the car, I removed a metal cover. Under most cars, this usually just requires a plain Phillips head screwdriver, so that part was really easy. Then, I carefully removed the oil nut. I made sure to wear the dirtiest shirt I owned because oil never comes off of a good shirt. After that, oil came out for about 2 minutes. Then I removed the oil filter. Remember that little cylinder thing I mentioned earlier? And I put a new oil filter in its place. You might want to be careful when doing this step though, as oil can come out of the oil filter, especially if you remove it after the oil nut. Next, I tried to pop open the hood of the car to pour the oil in.
I opened the wrong thing.
Next, I started pouring in the oil.
I think they use the same ring thing that I see in milk cartons. Huh. Surprisingly easier to take off than in milk cartons.
You know, I think I'm finally getting a hang on how to change a car's oil. To anyone watching, it may seem like I actually know what I'm doing, and I messed up. I mean, I was doing so well, and... I mean, what could I have even done wrong? Let's go through the list again. Elevate car, check. Remove panel, check. Unscrew oil nut, check. Drain oil, check. Put back oil. I forgot to put back the fucking oil nut. Okay, so basically, this is what happens when you don't put back the oil nut after you're done draining the oil. So you know how the oil nut keeps all the old oil in the tank, keeps it from spilling out the bottom? Well, it turns out it also keeps the new oil from coming out the bottom too. So I just wasted like 5 whole quarts of oil. I essentially just poured it on the ground. I was actually recording when I realized I had made the mistake, so here's that.
This back.
Elijah? Did you put the oil nut back in first?
Shit!
Is the oil all dripping out the bottom?
Fuck!
Did you just waste an entire 5 quarts of oil?
You wanna go to AutoZone really quick?
Yeah, I think we have to.
Luckily, I had kept the oil pan under the car, so I didn't need to clean it up, but I did need more oil, so I had to go to the closest AutoZone. But first, I had some food, because I was kinda hungry, and I hadn't had breakfast yet. Alright, so after wasting all that oil, and after finally getting some fucking food in my system, I headed down to AutoZone to grab more oil. To be honest, this was kinda the hardest part of this whole process, because I had to interact with the cashier and the other people in the store, and ask my dad to film me buying oil in a public space. It was worth it though, because I bought 15 quarts of oil, which was 3 times the amount I needed. You know, just in case. Alright, so now that I'm back from AutoZone with enough oil to mess up a couple times, I put the oil nut back under the car, and I picked up where I left off. after absolutely making sure that the oil nut was in place and that no oil would leak out, I poured in 1/3 of the oil I bought, 5 quarts, and after that, just to make sure I had the right amount of oil in the car, I checked the stick thing called the dipstick. The dipstick. I checked the stick thing called the dipstick. It shows you how much oil there is left in the car. And all I have to do now is close the hood. Put back the plate. And drive the car off the ramps. And that was how I changed a car's oil. It was kind of difficult, and by the end I was ready to destroy the car. But I think I did a relatively good job. Thanks for watching, and hey, consider liking the video if you enjoyed watching me struggle for 5 minutes. And, you know, maybe drop a sub if you want to see more.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't really understand, but I fell down this hill and I got glue on my hands and I got rackets on my